Hey, this is Adam with Dental Ads and SEO. I just wrapped up a training here that I wanted to share with you. I was going over the first part of a funnel that involves the office. We work out getting the leads from the internet and bringing them to your office. The first step that needs to happen is that the office needs to take that lead and turn it into an appointment. And we went over very specific steps that office was going to take to increase the amount of leads that we're turning into new patients and then moving the bottom line and increasing ROI. So I wanted to share that with you. I cut out the steps that I was doing specifically for that office, and I put in some new steps that you can use in your office, and you can work it out with your team to start implementing these to increase your ratio of leads to appointments in the chair. And here you go. There's going to be the ads that are running on social media and Google, and there's SEO work that goes to get leads that come into the office. Then the next stage is once the lead comes in, there's booking the appointment. And then after appointment gets booked, there's another phase of actually getting them to show up. And then after that, then it's just going to be making sure they have an awesome experience in the office. So specifically, the spot we're going to be talking about today is getting them from leads to appointments. So today we're going to be going over converting leads to patients in the chair. Okay, the next spot that we're going to talk about is speed to lead, okay? So if you can reach a person within 24 hours of the lead coming in, you're 300% more likely to book that appointment than if you don't reach them in the first 24 hours, okay? If you get 10 leads and you get a hold of them within 24 hours, you're going to convert 3 times more of them than you would if you didn't get to them for another 2 days. And you got to think about that. That person's in pain or they're having some small reaching to go to the dentist. If you don't capitalize on that while it's happening, it's going to go away. So you got to really get to those guys as soon as that lead comes in. Also, you're 3 times more likely to convert them if you can reach them in the first hour than in the first 24 hours. So really, that prime time is that first hour that reach or that lead comes in. That's when the prime time is to really get a hold of them to book that appointment. After the first hour, after the first day, good luck, really, is where we're at with the dental leads right now. So we want to get that going really quickly. So since we know that you're 3 times more likely to convert a lead if you can reach them in the first 24 hours, and 3 times more likely than that if you can reach them in the first hour, a key system that we set up for every office that we work with is automated patient follow-up. We want that person's phone to be ringing with text messages and emails and phone calls within the first few minutes that they reached out to your office as a lead. So we set up tracking systems to inform your office as soon as a lead comes in to keep the information visible and front and center and top of mind for all the front desk staff. And after that, we also send out text messages and emails instantly as soon as the lead comes in so that you reach the person right when they were interested. Now, text messaging is a vital component to this, right? Text messaging is where you get 90% of your messages get read. Does anyone look at their phone, ding, the text message ding, and then not look at it or not see it? Not many. You got about 90% of people are reading text messages that come in. And that's one of your best ways to get a message across to somebody these days. Okay, I want to set some expectations, right? Because you guys are dealing with these leads and sometimes you're getting ghosted, right?
Yes.
They never heard of you. They don't know what a dentist is. Yeah, you're getting some of these?
Yeah. You guys
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
but they filled it out. Yeah. They'll say that they didn't reach out or the phone number's wrong.
the platform that we're using is on Facebook and Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what happens is the person will see an ad and then they will click on it and then it gives them a form. Okay. And it asks for first name, last name, email, phone number, and then it asks them some question about what they would like to improve about their smile. Now, Facebook already knows their first name, last name, email, and phone number. So when a person clicks on that form to ask about more information about becoming a new patient, those fields automatically fill in for them. But they have to manually type in something about what they'd like to improve about their smile. And you've seen that column on the lead sheet where it gives some sort of example about what they want to improve or what they want. So that part's being done manually. The other part is being done automatically because Facebook already knows their information. So when someone's telling you they never clicked on anything, they must have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not like
they couldn't like accidentally type something because they're putting in a reason why they want to come here. So they knew what they were signing up for essentially. It's not like you can accidentally sign up for this ad because you have to physically type.
If we find out that there's like a lot that are coming in that way, what we'll do is we can add more fields, right? Because a person can answer, what do you want to improve about your smile? How long has that been bothering you? What goals do you have for your smile and your oral health? And then by the time a person's written, 3 short form essays, they should have some familiarity with why you're calling them. So yeah, we'll balance those factors. If we find out they're not coming in, then we'll add more forms. Sometimes you add more forms that can reduce the amount of leads. So it's just something to kind of balance back and forth. So in terms of this, for expectations, I got a question for you. So a recent survey was done of leads that come into dental offices and how many turn into appointments. So what would you guys guess is the amount of leads that turn into appointments and patients in the office?
I feel like I told you guys this number already, but I'm trying to remember the number.
We said it was like 10%, 13%.
Yeah, the number I've been hearing was 17.
Oh,
17% are actually turning into appointments. And you end up with 2% responding when you first contact them. This is the industry average dental marketing. Someone reaches out to a dentist, you're going to convert 2% of them if you just reach out to them once. This is an interesting field. Everybody knows what a dentist solves. By survey, another number that gets thrown around is that 40% of people don't know their dentist's name. If you ask them, who is your dentist? They wouldn't answer. They would know the answer. Society is definitely solution aware for dentistry. There's 2 kind of categories. Someone's problem aware or they're solution aware. Sometimes the person might be aware of a certain problem, but not necessarily have the answer to the solution for it, right? So like, if we were going to ask people, if your back hurts, right? You're aware of this problem, your back hurts. What do you do for that?
call the doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor, chiropractor, doctor. Some people just say a leave, like
Stay home.
Yeah. Take a nap.
Yeah, take a nap, doctor, chiropractor. But it's in our society, it's pretty clear. If your tooth hurts, there's one place you call, right? You're calling a dentist, but they don't necessarily remember exactly who their dentist is. So it's just something interesting. People are typing in dentist, 17% turn into appointments in the office, 2%, if you only reach them once, are going to convert. So it's just something we're going to have to work at. We're looking at 6 to 8 touches. And then by that point, they've either booked or we're going to move on. Good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we want calls to be 3 or 4 of those touches. And then a multi-channel approach is best for calls, text, and email. So the main thing here is just to be ready and be prepared to follow up. It's going to take a few calls. Okay? All right. Hey, so in this presentation, I was just meeting with a specific office and we went over their exact script that we worked out that was converting their appointment requests into new patient appointments and to patients in the chair. Now, I'm going to go over the general guidelines with you, but I'm not going to go over the specific script that I worked out with their office, okay? So when a lead comes in, the first thing you want to do is to call them, okay? And when you call them, don't leave a voicemail. It's just a call. You're calling. If it goes to voicemail, you hang up. And at that point, you're sending out a text message from some sort of text messaging platform that you might have, whether it's your practice management software, Solution Reach, Lighthouse 360, there's a ton of them. Whatever you're using to send out text messages, send out a text message there. Side note, if you don't have text messaging set up, definitely get that set up. That's how a lot of people communicate these days. 90% of text messages are read. Okay. So first thing, we do a call and you send a text message, you don't leave a voicemail. The next step is you're going to kind of break the day up into 3 days. There's morning, early afternoon, late afternoon. Okay. And so when you did that first call in the morning and you sent out the text message in the morning, then early afternoon, you're going to do a second call. And this time you're going to leave the voicemail. Okay. And the voicemail is basically going to be like your text message again. Like, hey, this is XYZ calling from XYZ Dental, and I just wanted to reach out and find out when would be the best time to contact you regarding getting that problem that you reached out to us about handled, okay? Depending on how the lead came in or what they said they needed help with. Okay, and at that point, you've now called, left a message, and you're gonna send an email, okay? And then from there, that's something to work out a script for of what it is that email is that you want to have go out. So immediately call, no voicemail, text message. Second, at the next period, you're gonna call, leave a voicemail, and send an email. Good. Now, 24 hours later, you're gonna do a call again, right? The idea being maybe they are available in the mornings, and then by the time you called them early afternoon, they were busy again. So maybe they're available mornings the next day, right? So a lead comes in Monday morning, call, text. Monday at 1:30, we call, voicemail, email. Then Tuesday morning, we're going to call them a third time. Again, leave a voicemail. There you go. And then by that time, with the automated text message and automated email that goes out, as soon as the lead comes in, you're going to be at 8 touches within 24 hours. And at that point, that's pretty good. You can do more, but at that point, you will have satisfied. You've done 8 contacts or 8 touches with this lead within 24 hours. And that's what you really want to see. That's going to be really increasing your probability of turning that lead into an appointment. Once you've contacted the person and you've gotten them on the phone or the lead calls in, the first thing we're going to do is a warm greeting that you'll work out with your office. I can help with this in terms of like coming up with a branded greeting of what you want the greeting to be like. You want the person answering the phones to smile when they answer the phones. You can hear it in a person's voice, whether they sound friendly or warm, etc. Okay, so that comes across. The next thing is you need to determine if they're a new or an existing patient. So sometimes the receptionist will know, like, oh, this is Tanya. She's been here before, right? And sometimes you know, and sometimes you don't. And you just want to find out whether that's, you can ask them, hey, is this your first time coming here? Or are you a patient of record? Or have you been here before? And you kind of find out whether they're a new or existing patient. And that part, you got to kind of feel how the conversation's going on how to ask that best. Okay, once you've determined that, if they're a new patient, you need to find out how is that new patient coming to your office, okay? It's not going to be perfect, right? There's a lot of touches that go on before a person reaches out to an office. A great example of this is if you stood at the gate of Disney World, right, all day, and you asked everybody that came through, and you asked them, what was the promo piece that you saw that made you come to Disney World today? I don't know what answers you would get. Some of them would be good, some of them would be bad, but I mean, mainly these people have been marketed to since they were like 3 years old that Disney World is the happiest place on earth and that they need to go there. So it's going to be really hard to isolate the one key touch that made them go to Disney World. And it's going to be the same thing with your office. Maybe they saw you on Facebook 3 times and their friend has told them about you 3 or 4 times. And now their tooth hurts and they go on Google and they search dentist near me. You pop up number 1, they click, they call, and the front office says, how'd you hear about us? And they say, oh, my friend referred me to you. So it's hard to get that exact, but you want to get a feel for that. We want to find out some sort of way of how they heard about you, okay? So that we can track this referral source. From there, you're going to want to get some basic information. Are they insurance, possible pre-medication? But we want to keep it kind of limited, not getting the full insurance rundown, but just do they have dental insurance or something, just so we know what we're going to need to have prepared. First name, last name, email, phone number, brief, right? But we want to keep that part short because as soon as we got that, we can call them back if the call gets disconnected. We can follow up again. But at that point is where we want to book the appointment, okay? And when you're booking the appointment, you're going to want to offer 2 options. It's, do you prefer Mondays or Tuesdays, mornings or afternoons? Would 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock be better for you? We want to just have a long string of yeses and appointment booking that goes on. We don't want to give these people that are reaching out for services the chance to say no. They've been saying no to dental care for years. They know they're supposed to go to a dentist and they haven't been coming. So now we want to get them to be saying yes to this and we want to make it easy for them to get in the chair, okay? Now, after the appointment is booked, that's when I would send out your link where the person can fill in their full health history information and get all the insurance documentation required, etc. So we get all that stuff there for them that way. One last tip I like to say on this is I keep printed out sheets at a front desk where it's just a piece of paper with blanks for what you need to collect because at the front desk of a dental office, it's a busy place. There's 3 people in the waiting room. One person needs treatment presentation. The computer's frozen. There's 2 people on hold, and now a new patient's calling in. So the last thing you need is any sort of glitch or anything getting in the way. And you can at least look on the schedule and find the time and book it, and you get that information written down. And then once the waiting room clears out and things calm down, then you can go ahead and officially put it in the computer that way. Okay. So I want to talk about a subject that sometimes is a point of contention, okay? And this is on sometimes patients call in with questions, right? Do you guys ever get people that call in and say, how much is a crown or how much for a root canal or something like that?
All the time.
That was a trick question. I know you get calls like that all the time. But so when they call in like that, sometimes it's the usual answer is, hey, we can't answer that. You have to come in and we're going to take a look and then we'll let you know, right? That's pretty much how that usually goes. Yeah. I want to present a different idea. I want to go over a new concept. So like when you go to a restaurant and you get a menu and you see the prices of everything listed, and then you see something listed for market price, what's the first thing you think about that item? Expensive. Yeah, or delicious, one of the two, but expensive is what jumps out, right? If you can't see what the price of something is, that's like your first reaction is it's probably expensive. Have you ever gone to try to look for something and somebody's kind of, if you were going to go buy a car or something like that and you're like, hey, I want to go see what this car is, one of your questions is going to be, how much is this going to cost probably, right? And if somebody was like, you got to come down here to the dealership before I tell you how much this car is worth, you might not be interested in going down there. Might be a little hesitant on the subject. And it's clear that as a society, people are more looking for Uber and Amazon where they can see what something costs, they know how to access it, they know how to get it, and they see those prices and they see those answers, and they're becoming aware of how to get the answers to those questions. And so sometimes if you're not answering those questions, they'll answer it themselves, right? Who here uses ChatGPT? Yeah? Okay, great. All right. Well, so for instance, if I'm calling around and I'm looking to, if I've been told somehow that I need a crown or something like that, right? I mean, that's one quick ChatGPT search away to ask how much does a crown cost in that area. And you're going to get a ballpark. You're not going to get an exact number. Maybe you don't even need a crown, but if that's your question, how much does a crown cost? You can get that answered. And so that's available. So I want to bring up the idea of ballparking. I want to go over the idea of getting somebody a ballpark answer to that question. When someone calls and says, hey, I need a crown. We don't even know if you need a crown, but here's kind of an estimate here. We're going to go over an exact script for that, but I want to go over that concept that we're going to provide some sort of estimate to this. So here is an example, right? So someone calls in and says, hey, how much for a crown? So the office says back to this, that's a great question. So the exact fee really depends on what's needed. Things in the mouth are always changing. For instance, what may have needed a filling or a crown a few months ago may now require different treatment. The doctor will need to take a look and confirm the right treatment with you. With that in mind, I will tell you that a crown here ranges from X to X. If you have insurance, your plan may cover some of this as well. We'll be able to give you an accurate estimate once the doctor has had a chance to take a look and we have your specific insurance information. And then from there, you can go ahead and book that appointment. I think that could be a good way to do this, right? Where we're getting that ballpark estimate out there, plenty of disclaimers, and we're still being friendly and answering their question without making them feel like they're looking at market price on the menu. We don't want a person to think market price when they are thinking if they should make an appointment or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that way we can be transparent about fees, provide a fee range with a disclaimer, explain that a definitive quote requires an in-person consultation. I mean, there's insurance verification. There's all kinds of things that are involved there. We're not leaving their question unanswered, and you're getting a chance to educate instead of quoting, right? Because their mouth is always changing, and somebody that needed a crown 6 months ago certainly might need different treatment now. So you're able to educate them on that process and let them know why that's going to be important for their accurate pricing. Okay. So is that something you guys are open to and willing to try out here on the spot for the giving estimates? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Great. That was easy.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's really kind of the key points here is that one is speed to lead, trying to get that response time in the first hour as much as possible, responding to those alerts as quickly as you can. That'd be great. Having those expectations that you're going to have to reach out several times. It's very rare you're going to get somebody that answers on the first call. So don't be disappointed. It's like, okay, great. It can be like, the person didn't answer. Man, this is sad. Or it's like, oh, great. Call number 1 done. 3 more to go. You can look at it like that. And then the last thing is, I think this would be a good idea to just kind of practice this scenario, periodically, to just kind of go over these different things that come up to just help do some practice or some questions just in terms of integrating it with that new patient sheet. And every office has different things it wants to check for depending on what the call is about. So I think that's a great idea to do that. And then just have that pattern there. And I think this is going to help us to get more of these leads converted into patients in the chair, which is what we're working on, helping these people with their oral health. They probably haven't been to a dentist in a while, I would say, especially when they're on Facebook and then they get an advertisement and go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I should go to a dentist. I bet they haven't been in the last 6 to 12 months and they probably need some help. This not something they're used to. All right, great. Well, this was awesome. Thanks for coming and going over this with me today.
Thanks for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.